Hello techies. In our previous tutorials, we have learned different Excel actions while working with Excel automation. And also we have learned different database actions while working with SQL database. Alright, if you observe the Excel automation action, that is read from Excel worksheet, if you observe over here, I'm having the Excel instance and then I'm going to retrieve the values in a such a way, the value of single cell, values from the range of cells, value from selection and all available values from the worksheet. But if you observe over here, I can retrieve the data from the particular worksheet which are available under Excel worksheet. Alright. But what if I'm having Excel with multiple sheets and we need to use Excel as a database and we want to extract data from Excel by using SQL queries. Alright, let me show you a small example over here for the Excel, that is employee list.excel sx file. Now, this Excel file having two worksheets. There you can see I'm having employee underscore personal underscore details. It is one of the worksheet where you are having employee ID, name and gender. Another one I'm having employee underscore salary underscore details where I'm having employee ID and state code and joining date of the particular employee. Along with that, what is the annual salary of the particular employee. Now, by using Excel as a database, now I want to retrieve the data by using OLEDB. Alright, before that, we'll see what is OLEDB. OLEDB stands for Object Linking and Embedding Database. It is an API designed by Microsoft that allows user to access a variety of data sources in a uniform manner. A OLEDB provider is a software component that enables an OLEDB consumer to interact with the data source. Now, whenever I'm going to use this Excel as a database, in that case, I'm going to use database actions. And then what I will do, I will go ahead and use the SQL queries over there to extract the data from the Excel. That is from the employee details underscore personal employee underscore personal underscore details as well as employee underscore salary underscore details. Now, what is the prerequisite to work with database actions along with the Excel as a database? There we required OLEDB provider. Now, to work with Excel as a database, we need to be installed Microsoft Access database engine as a prerequisite in our desktop or the laptop or on our computer. Now, if you go for the Windows, and there if you see, I have already installed Microsoft Office with 64-bit. If you observe over here, I am having Microsoft Office, Microsoft Publisher 2010, and there also I have installed my Microsoft Excel related. Now, to use the SQL queries inside my database actions or database queries, in that case, we should install Microsoft Access database engine on your desktop. Now, let me go to the control panel. If you see, I'm going to the control panel, that is appwith.cpl, and then I'm going to click on OK. Now, if you see over here, I'm having Microsoft Access Database Engine 2010. So, which is already I have installed this Microsoft Access Database Engine to access my Excel as a database using OLEDB provider. Now, what is this OLEDB connection? An OLEDB connection can store in an Excel workbook. When Excel opens the workbook, it creates a memory or copy of the OLEDB connection known as OLEDB connection object. By using that, we can go ahead and we can retrieve the data from the Excel by using SQL queries. Alright, now if you see over here, I'm having the connection string in such a way, provider equal to Microsoft as.oledb.12.o. This what it will represent to connect to the provider, that is OLEDB provider. We are using this provider as OLEDB, that is 12.0 version. It is common for all 2007 to latest version of the Excel. Alright. Now, if you see the data source over here, I have given it as d colon training employee list dot xlsx, which we have just shown you. This is the Excel, the path of the data source. Next one, if you see the extended properties, I'm going to use Excel 12.0 in the XML format. And then if you see HDR equal to yes, what does it mean? The headers we need to retrieve or not. If HDR equal to yes, it indicates that the first row contains the column names. If HDR equal to no, in that case, it indicates the first row does not contain the column names. All right. And along with that, if you see I'm having persist security info, that is the main. If you are going to set persist security info equal to true or false, it won't show much difference for the upfront, but the difference is happening at the back end. What is the difference over there? When persist info equal to false, the security sensitive information such as password is not returned as part of the connection. If the connection is open or has been, even if it is open state. If you are going to set persist security info equal to true, Windows will remember the password specified in the connection string. All right, this is all about the OLEDB. Now we will learn how to install Microsoft Access Database Engine to use Excel as a database. Before installing, we will learn why to install Microsoft Access Database Engine. There are two reasons. One, Microsoft Access Database Engine contains essential components that make it possible for the Microsoft Office programs to interact with software services and applications that do not belong to Microsoft. To use Excel as a database in Power Automate Desktop, we need Microsoft Access Database Engine. The second reason is that if you don't install Microsoft Access Database Engine on your local, we will get runtime error, that is microsoft.ace.oledb.12.o provider is not registered on the local system. To connect and to avoid runtime errors, we will install Microsoft Access Database Engine. All right. Now, to install this Microsoft Database Engine, what are the system requirements? The database engine for the Microsoft Office can be installed on Windows editions such as Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 7, Windows Server 2012, Windows Server 2012 R2, along with that Windows Server 2008 R2. In these OS, we can install Database Engine 2016, 2010, Access Runtime 2013. Along with that, if we have the Windows Vista SP1 version with the 32-bit XP SP3, in that case, we are going to use Database Engine 2010. All right. These are the system requirement whenever you are going to install Microsoft Access Database Engine on the system. Now, we'll see how to install Microsoft Access Database Engine. There are multiple editions of the Microsoft Access Database Engine available for the download, depending upon which Office version you are using. It also depends on our system architecture type, service pack, and preferred language. I have already installed Microsoft Office 2010 version with 64-bit. Now, if you have any Microsoft Access Database Engine already installed on your system, then go to Control Panel by clicking on Run and then go to appwiz.cpl. It will redirect to Control Panel. Click on OK. Now, if you observe over here in my Programs and Features, I have already installed Microsoft Access Database Engine 2010 with 64-bit. Right? If it is not supporting, in that case, please uninstall it first, and then you have to install the Microsoft Access Database Engine. How can I go ahead and get it this Microsoft Access Database Engine 2010 based on the Microsoft Office version you are using? Now, I'm going to the browser. I'm going for the google.com. Now, I'm going to search for Microsoft Access Database Engine 2010 because I have installed my Office with 2010 so that I will get the version of the Access Database Engine for 2010. Now, based on your requirement, please go ahead and get the Microsoft Access Database Engine. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to download this Microsoft Access Database Engine 2010 redistributable file by clicking on the Microsoft Downloads. Now over here, if you see, I'm going to select the language English and then I'm going to click on download. Click on that. There you can see I'm having two files to download. One is access database engine.exe, another one access database engine with 64-bit.exe. Now based on your requirement, you can go ahead and you can download it. If you have already installed Microsoft Office 32-bit, in that case, you are going to use access database engine.exe. Or if you have already installed Microsoft Office with 64-bit, then we are going to use Access Database Engine 64.exe. All right, now let's click on next. And the downloading has already started. Once the download has completed, click on open. Once the Access Database Engine .exe file has downloaded successfully, go to the downloads and then open the Access Database Engine with the 64-bit. Let's double click on that. Once the required files has been extracted, you will get a window like this saying that Microsoft Access Engine 2010 English setup has been started. Welcome to the Microsoft Access Database Engine for the installation wizard. Click on next. And there you will get the end user license agreement. Please go through that. And then I'm going to accept the terms of the license agreement. And then I'm going to click on next. And then it will ask where to install this Microsoft Access Database Engine. By default, it is going to C program files, Microsoft Office, and then I'm going to click on install. Now it is trying to install the Microsoft Access Database Engine on the particular location. Now Microsoft Access Database Engine has successfully completed. Now let's click on OK. Now, once again, if you go back to the control panel in the program files, if you are going to refresh it once again, there you can see the Microsoft Access Database Engine for 2010 has been successfully installed for the 64-bit. Now, by using this Microsoft Access Database Engine, we can go ahead and we can extract the data from the Excel as a database by using OLEDB provider. All right. Now, we will learn few topics or the scenarios in this particular training. What are the first topic? Now, if I want to read the Excel file data using SQL connection when there are more than two worksheets. Now, if you observe in all our previous Excel automation, then what we have done, we have read the data from the particular Excel worksheet only by using read from Excel worksheet. But right now, we are going to read the data from the Excel as a database by using SQL queries as part of the OLEDB provider. How can we go ahead and do that? Now, as a first step, I'm going to set the variable for the Excel file path. So I'm going for the action and then I'm going to use set variable. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace to set the Excel path. As a best practice, for the paths related, we will specify in the variable. All right, let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. And then I'm going to give the variable name as Excel underscore file path. And then the path, what is the path that I have to give? I'm going to mentioning the path of the Excel which is located. Now, this Excel file is available in my D location, training, and after that you can find employee list. Let me copy this path by using shift and there you can see I'm having copy as path. Let me select that. And then I'm going to provide the value over here as d colon training slash employee list dot excel sx file. This is the path I have mentioned for the Excel underscore file underscore path. Let me click on save. Now I'm going to take one more variable that is for the connection string. Let me drag and drop again this set variable action onto the workspace. Now I'm going to give the name of the variable as OLEDB underscore connection string. Now in the value, I'm going to give the details of the connection string, such as provider equal to Microsoft dot as dot oledb dot tool.o, and the data source. I don't give directly this D training employee list. In this scenario, what I will do, I will give the set variable path, that is Excel path. I will take it from the variables. I'm going to select Excel underscore file underscore path, and the extended properties I have given it as 12.4, that is Excel 12.4 XML, header equal to yes, and persist security info equal to false. And then I'm going to click on save. Now, as a first scenario, I need to read the data from the Excel file by using SQL connection or OLEDB connection, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use database actions to open the connectivity, right? I'm going to use open SQL connection. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. And there, what it will do, the open SQL connection opens a connection to the database. Now, in our case, the database is Excel. So we are having the connectivity for the OLDB connection is in such a way with the variable OLEDB underscore connection string. Now, if you observe over here, now I'm having a builder over here. If you see over here, this is the icon of the build connection string. If you want to build any connection string, there by using this build connection, you can go ahead and you can build it. Now, if you click on that, there you will get data link properties. There you can see all the OLEDB providers are available. Now, if you observe, we are having the OLEDB provider such a way like Microsoft.as.oledb.12.0, that is Microsoft Office 12.0 Access Database Engine OLEDB provider. This is where we are going to use this one to connect to retrieve the data by using SQL queries. Now, if you don't have this or Microsoft Office 12.0 Access Database Engine, in that case, you have to install Microsoft Access Database Engine with particular bit. If you have already installed Microsoft Office 64-bit, then Microsoft Access Database Engine also you have to install with 64-bit, right? Until unless if you have not installed Microsoft Access Database Engine, you won't get the provider over here. All right. Now I have already installed this OLEDB provider. Now I have already installed Microsoft Access Database Engine so that I'm going to get this provider for the OLEDB provider. All right. Now I'm going to select Microsoft Office 12.0 Access Database Engine for OLEDB provider, and then I'm going to click on next. And then if you see over here, enter the data source or the location of the data. Now we have seen already, right? So where is the path that we have? That is D colon training employee list dot XLSX file. Now I'm going to give that same path over here under the data source. Now enter information to log on to the server. Now for the particular data source, if you are having username and password, in that case, if you provide username and you're going to provide the password over here. But right now for my employee list.xlsx file, I don't have any username or password to open into that. So that I'm going to delete this admin and then I'm going to provide blank password, right? Now, there are the advanced properties. Let's click on advanced. Over here, I'm going to give the properties in such a way. For the access permissions, I'm going to give read, read and write. Along with that, I'm going to remove the share, deny, none. Okay, I'm going to give read and write access permission for the particular Excel. And now, if you observe in my OLDB connection string, I'm having extended properties. Yes, where we'll find all these things. In all properties, there you can find data source equal to D colon training slash employee list. Under that, you can find extended properties. There we'll give the extended properties. Let's double click on that to edit the values. And there inside that extended properties, we are going to give the property value over here. What is the property value? I'm going to give Excel 12.0 in the XML format, semicolon, and HDR equal to S. So S means we are having the first row as the columns in my Excel. All right, let's click on OK. And along with that, there you can see I want to provide persist security info, right? If it is true, in our Windows, it will store the password. If it is false, then it won't store the passwords over here. Now, by default, I'm going to provide it persist security info as false, and then I'm going to click on OK. Now, if you see the connection string, I'm having provider equal to microsoft.as.oldb.12.0, data source equal to d colon training employee list dot xlsx, and the mode is read and write, and extended properties excel 12.0 xml hdr equal to yes, and persist security info equal to false. So this is same as what we have given in our OLEDB connection string. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace this entire connection string with my variable, that is OLEDB connection string. And then the output of the OpenSQL connection I'm going to store inside the variable, that is SQL connection. And then I'm going to click on save. Now I want to retrieve the data from the Excel sheet. That is, I'm having employee list over here, right? Now what I want to get the both the data in such a way. Employee underscore personal details. Along with that, I need to join the table, that is worksheet 2, that is employee underscore salary underscore details. How can I go ahead and get these two worksheet as a single output? Now I'm going to use execute SQL statement. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. Now, if you see the parameters to execute the SQL statement, what it will do, it will connect to the database. In our case, the database is Excel, and execute an SQL statement. Now, if you see the parameters, get connection by, there are two parameters. One is SQL connection string or connection. One is connection string or another one is SQL connection variables. I'm going to select SQL connection variable, and the SQL connection, if you see, it's already taken it, the SQL connection which we have used for the OpenSQL. Now I will write the SQL statement over here to retrieve the data from the two worksheets. So I'm going to use select star from. So the first one is the table. So what is the table? In our case, we are having employee underscore person underscore details is the sheet which we have. We have to mention the same sheet over here, right? That is emp underscore personal underscore details. Okay, now I will show you first only for the single worksheet. So whenever you are going to mention the worksheet, there you have to give the dollar symbol at the end. All right, and then I'm going to click on save. Now, as a best practice, once we have opened the SQL connection and after executing the SQL statement, we need to close the SQL connection. Let me drag and drop this close SQL connection action onto the workspace after executing the SQL statement. As a parameter for the close SQL connection, we are going to give SQL connection which has been opened. We are having SQL connection as a parameter, as a variable. I'm going to select the same variable SQL connection, and then I'm going to click on save. Now let me repeat again this entire flow. Now I am set a variable for the Excel path, that is Excel underscore file underscore path is the variable name, where the path having the value in a such a way d colon training slash employee list dot xlsx. And also we have given another variable, that is the name of the variable name is OLEDB underscore connection string, where it is having the connection string for the OLEDB, that is for the Excel, to use as a database. To work with Excel as a database, we need to use OpenSQL connection. Inside that, we are having the SQL queries to retrieve the data from the Excel. So we are going to use OpenSQL connection. So for the OpenSQL connection, we are using the variable, that is OLEDB connection string, as a parameter. And then the output will be stored inside my SQL connection. To retrieve the data from the Excel as a database, I'm going to use SQL queries to retrieve the data. To execute the SQL queries, we are going to use execute SQL statement, that is select star from employee personal details, that is the worksheet name I have given it up. For that, as additionally, we have given dollar symbol for the worksheet, and then the output will be stored in the query results. Once the SQL statement has executed successfully, as a best practice, we are going to close the SQL connection. Now, our flow is ready for the Excel as a database with SQL queries to retrieve the data from the worksheet 1, that is employee underscore personal underscore details worksheet. Let's run the flow to see the output by clicking on run. Flow execution started. Now if you observe over here, it's already set the variable for the path as well as OLEDB connection, and then it is trying to open the SQL connection for the OLEDB connection string, and then inside my Excel I'm having thousands of records so that it is trying to retrieve the data in the particular worksheet, that is EMP underscore personal underscore details, by using execute SQL statement. And then it will close the SQL connection by using close SQL connection. Now if you observe on my right hand side, I'm having the output in such a way, the Excel path having the path for the Excel, that is d training slash employee list dot xlsx, another one OLEDB connection string, another one if you see over here query result. Let me click on that to show you the output. Now, if you observe in my first worksheet, I'm having employee ID, name, and gender. In my output also in the query result, there you can see employee ID, name, and gender. And the first column and the first row, we are having headers so that it has been taken it as the columns over there. That is HDR equal to yes. And there if you observe, I'm having 1,000 records over here, including the headers, so that we are having the same over here in a such a way in the query result. There you can see I'm having the employee ID 2000 over here, right? Let me keep it side by side. There you can see the output as well as the Excel list in the worksheet 1, that is employee underscore personal details. There you can see the 2000 employee ID is Olivero Marzilio, that is the gender is male. All right, and we have retrieved all the data by using execute SQL statement by using Excel as a database. But what is the difference over here while read data from the Excel worksheet action and after that is execute SQL statement? Now read from Excel worksheet action will retrieve the data from the particular active worksheet, right? And also it is a little bit slow comparatively with the execute SQL statement. It will be slow. And then if you want to retrieve the data from the multiple worksheets, it is not possible with the read from Excel worksheet. But whereas by using execute SQL statement, it is possible to join two worksheets and then we can retrieve the data. Let me show you that one over here. How can we retrieve the data from the two worksheets over here? In our Excel, we are already having employee underscore personal underscore details. This is the one worksheet. Another one employee underscore salary underscore details is another Excel worksheet, right? Now I want to retrieve the data from the multiple worksheets over here by using execute SQL statement. Let me double click on the execute SQL statement. Now, if you observe under the SQL statement parameter, we have given select star from employee underscore personal underscore details dollar. This is the SQL queries, right? And after that, I'm going to give the naming convention over here as EPD. So this is the alias name that I'm going to give it for the employee underscore personal underscore details. And I'm going to join inner join. And what is the second worksheet that we have? That is employee underscore salary underscore details. I'm going to give the name over here, but before that, so this is also worksheet, so that I'm going to give the dollar symbol at the end of the worksheet. And then I'm going to give the alias name as ESD. That is nothing but employees underscore salary underscore details. And I'm going to join on condition. What is the common, we are having in these two worksheets, that is employee ID. So I'm going to give EPD dot employee underscore ID equal to ESD dot employee underscore ID. So I'm going to join these two tables on the inner joining with the column name, that is employee ID, and I'm going to retrieve star is nothing but I'm going to retrieve all the columns, so that what is the output that we'll get it employee in the first row, in the first worksheet, we are having in the first worksheet that I'm having the column names that is employee underscore ID, name, gender. Along with that in our output, we will get employee ID underscore state code, another one joining date and annual underscore salary columns. We'll get it whenever we have used this query that is select star from employee underscore personal details inner join with employee underscore salary details ESD on employee ID dot employee ID the column name and ESD dot employee ID. Let me click on save and let's run the flow to see the output from the both the worksheets. I need our main agenda right now is that we need to get the data from our two worksheets at the same time, which is not possible from the read from Excel data action. Flow execution started. Now it is trying to open the SQL connection by using open SQL connection action, and then it is trying to retrieve the data from two worksheets, that is one from the employee underscore personal underscore details. Along with that we are having another worksheet that is employee underscore salary underscore details by using execute SQL action. And finally, it will close the SQL connection by using close SQL connection action after getting the required output from the execute SQL statement. Now, if you observe in our flow variables, we are having query result as an output. Let's double click on that to see the output. Now, if you observe the output over here, that I got the employee ID as epd.employee ID. Nothing but this column will come from employee underscore personal underscore details. That's the reason you got it as epd.employee ID and the name and the gender from the first worksheet. And the second worksheet I am having ESD, that is employee underscore salary underscore details dot employee ID and the state code, joining date and annual salary. You may ask why only two columns, that is epd.employee ID, another one est.employee ID, having the alias names over here at the starting of the column name. The reason is that it has to differentiate. This data has came from the employee underscore personal underscore details. This column, that is ESD employee ID, came from the employee underscore salary underscore details. That's the reason it has been given the alias name at the starting of the column automatically from the execute SQL statement in our query result. And after that, if you keep the output and the Excel sheet side by side, there you can see I'm having EMP underscore personal details where I'm having employee ID, name underscore gender, whereas employee salary details I'm having employee ID, state code, joining date, and annual underscore salary. All the columns have been retrieved, and after that we have displayed as an output in our query result by using Excel as a database by using OLEDB providers. All right, let's click on close. Now, as a second topic, we will learn how to filter the records from the Excel. Let me show you a small use case over here. In my employee list Excel file, I want to retrieve employee ID, employee name by filtering the records whose female employee salary is greater than 50,000 and belong to the state code India, who is joining date between 2000 and 2014. This is my small use case. If you see over here in my EMP underscore personal underscore details worksheet, I'm having employee ID, name, and gender. If you go for employee underscore salary underscore details worksheet, I'm having employee ID, state code, joining date, and annual salary. Now, as per our use case, we need to retrieve employee ID and name from the worksheet 1, that is employee underscore personal details. But the filter is that the gender we are having, right? That the gender, we need to filter that only for the female employees. And the salary, if you see in my employee underscore salary details, I want to filter the employee salary, annual salary, whose salary is greater than 50,000. And then the state code belongs to India. These are the filters that we have. Along with that, the joining date should be between 2000 and 2014. This is my small use case over here. But if you observe over here, there are a lot of things are there to filter out. One is that the condition should be gender equal to female. That is my first filtering condition, right? And the second filter condition, you can see the numbers over here that I'm going to give the salary over here, which is greater than 50,000. I'm going to check the condition like greater than, and female equal to, and gender equal to female is my another filter. And then the state code, I'm going to give it as India over there. And also we are comparing the joining date between two dates, that is greater than 2000 and less than 2014, like between 2000 and 2014. These are the values between two dates that we are going to mention. How can I go ahead and filter the records using Excel as a database? Now, in my execute SQL statement, I have already given the SQL statement in such a way to retrieve the data, that is select star from emp underscore personal underscore details, that is alias name I have given it as EPD, inner joining with another table employee underscore salary details, that is alias name I have given it as ESD, and on condition I'm going to join these two tables, that is EPD.employee ID comparing with ESD.employee ID. Right? Now we'll take one by one filter condition. As the first filter condition, I need to check where gender equal to female. Right? I'm going to pass the condition over here. I'm going to start where EPD. So the gender is available in my employee underscore personal details, right? So that I'm going to give EPD dot gender equal to female. So this is my first filter, right? Now let me click on save, and then let's run the flow to see the output for gender. Flow execution started. There you can see based on the condition, what is the condition we have given, where employee ID equal to female. So this will execute SQL statement, executes the data, and then it will give the results in the query result. Let's double click on the query result inside my flow variables. Let's double click on that. There you can see, if you see the filter, I have given EPD.employee ID, that I have given select star, means all the columns I have to get it, right? So that you can see over here the EPD.employee ID, name, gender, again employee ID from the another worksheet, that is ESD alias name, and the state code, joining date, and annual salary. There if you scroll down, I'm having almost all 499 rows that I'm having. All are with the gender equal to female, right? This is my first filter condition. Now, as a second condition, what I have to do, I need to get the state code only that belongs to India. So then, where is the state code that we have? In my EPD dot state code, in my second worksheet, right? That is employee underscore salary underscore details. I'm going to add the condition, one more condition by giving and there I'm going to give ESD, that is employee underscore salary underscore details. Inside that I'm having state code. So what is the state code? I'm going to give it, I want to filter the records based on state code equal to India. Now, if you see, I'm going to give two conditions. First one is the gender, another one, the state code should be India. All right, let's click on save and let's run the flow once again to see the output. Flow execution started. Now, if you see, based on the filter condition, what we have given, gender equal to female and state code equal to India, it has given the results over here. Now, if you see the query result, I'm having only 8 rows as an output. The reason is that we had almost all 499 records with the gender equal to female. But again, we have applied another condition, that is state code equal to India. It has to satisfy both the conditions. One is gender equal to female, another one state code equal to India. Now, based on the filter again, I got only 8 records or 8 rows. All are female, and then you can see state code equal to India. All right. Now let's click on close. Now we have one more filter condition, that is between the dates, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify this execute SQL statement once again, and I'm going to add one more filter, that is and condition that I want to add it. So the joining date should be between 2004 and 2014. In between these two dates, if any gender is available as female and state code is equal to India, I need to get all the records. So the joining date is available inside my employee underscore salary underscore details. And I'm going to give the joining date at the column. So it should be 2004 and 2014, right? Then I'm going to use the keyword that is between. I'm going to start hash whenever I'm going to give the dates over here. That is January 1st, 2004. And I'm going to close with hash again. And then I'm going to add and condition again. So between and whenever you're going to use joining date. And then I'm going to give again hash 31st 12 2014, and I'm going to close with hash again. Now, whenever you are going to give the joining dates, you have to give the keywords between and I'm going to give the start date and the end date. Now, if you observe, it is trying to filter, it has to satisfy all the conditions. One is gender, state code, and joining date. And then based on these filter conditions, it will get the results. All right, let's click on save. And then once again, let's run the flow to see the output. Flow execution started. There you can see it is trying to execute the SQL statement based on the given filters, and then it will store the output in the query result. Let me open the query result flow variable. There you can see I have only one record over here. So what are the conditions that have given over here? First thing is gender equal to female. Yes, it is satisfied. And the joining date, you can see over here, the joining date we have given the condition as 2004 to 2014. Now the joining date in between that, yes, it is also satisfied. And the another condition, the state code is India, that is also satisfied. All right. Based on the given filters, we got the output. How many records? If it is gender equal to female, in that case we got 499 records. Then we have applied one more condition, that is state code equal to India. In that case, we got 8 rows. Now, again, we have applied one more condition, that is joining date in between 2004 to 2014. Then we got a single record, which is Edison Gosen is the details with the employee ID 1330. Right? Now, we have to get only the employee ID and the name of the particular details based on the filter condition. But we are showing all the columns over here. In that case, how can we go ahead and filter it based on the given columns? What are the required columns? Let me click on close. Let me once again open the execute SQL statement. Now, at the final part, we need to retrieve the specific column, that is employee ID and the employee name. So employee ID is available in the EPD, that is employee underscore personal details, as well as employee underscore salary details worksheet also. Now you can get it from anywhere because of we are using the join condition, that is the inner join, and the employee ID equal to employee ID condition, right? So that what I'm going to do, I'm going to use EPD, or I will give ESD dot employee ID. I'm going to give alias as employee ID. Okay, I'm going to mentioning the alias name, and then I have to display the employee name from the where it is available inside my EPD only. So I'm going to make it comma EPD dot, where is the employee name? There you can see I'm having in my Excel, I'm having name, right? So that I'm going to get it as name, EPD dot name. I'm going to give alias name as employee name, right? So that we'll get only these two columns while I'm going to filter our entire data. All right, let's click on save. Now, once again, let's run the flow to see the output. Flow execution started. Now, it is trying to retrieve the data by using execute SQL statement based on the given conditions and the specific columns by using the SQL queries. Flow has executed successfully. Now if you observe under the flow variables, I got the query results. Previously, I got one row, but columns are 7. But right now, if you double click on that, we have mentioned only 2 columns in our execute SQL statement. Correct? That is employee ID, I have given it as alias name, and the employee name I have given it as alias name. This employee ID we got it from the employee underscore salary underscore details, whereas the employee name we got it from the employee underscore personal underscore details worksheet. All right, let me click on close. I hope you understand how to retrieve the specific columns by filtering the records such as gender, and the salary which is greater than 5,000 and the state code, and also by applying the joining date between 2000 and 2014 in the small use case. Now, as a third topic, we will learn how to filter an Excel file to return the top rows. Alright, let me show you a small example. I'm having an Excel sheet with two worksheets, that is employee underscore personal underscore details as well as employee underscore salary underscore details. Now I want to retrieve the top 5 salaries, employee name and employee ID from these two worksheets. How can we go ahead and do that? Let me go back to my desktop flow. I'm going to make the changes in my execute SQL statement. Let's double click on that. Now, as a first part, we need to retrieve top records. Top 5 records I need to fetch it up. I'm going to write the query in such a way. Select top 5. Top 5 employee ID as employee ID, EPD.name as employee name. Along with that, I need to get the salary also. So I'm going to add extra column, that is ESD.annual underscore salary. This is the column where we have in our employee underscore salary, and there you will find I'm having annual salary as a column. I need to retrieve this one from the top 5 records. For that, what I have done? I have done select top 5 employee ID, that is ESD.employee ID, along with that EPD.name as employee name, and after that I'm going to get the salary, that is ESD. Annual salary, and I'm going to give the name as salary, that is alias name I'm going to give it, and there I'm going to join two worksheets, that is employee underscore personal underscore details as well as employee underscore salary underscore details. Now on which condition? That I'm going to give employee ID. Now I'm not going to use this where condition, I don't require, I just want top 5 records. All right, let's click on save. Now let's run the flow to see the output. Flow execution started. There you can see, based on our filter condition, we are trying to retrieve top 5 rows, right? So that you can see over here in the query result, we got the output with 5 rows and 3 columns. Let's click on open. There you can see I'm having employee ID, employee name and the salary. But if you observe, these are only top 5 rows. Let me go back to my Excel. Let me show you the input and output side by side. There you can see I'm having first records over here as Amir, right? And then Vijay, Baji, Dev Upcraft and Jordan. These are the top 5 records, right? Along with that, if you see the salaries over here, I'm having 96,039, 71,408, 49,687, 85,148 and 90,077. These are the top 5 records respective to the employee IDs, right? But our agenda is that to get the top 5 salaries, all right? In that case, what we are going to do, we are going to order by the top salaries. Now, I'm going to give the class over here as order by, and there I'm going to get the salaries over there, right? There I'm going to use order by ESD dot annual salary. and I'm not going to mention it as ascending order or descending order. Now, by default, it is ascending order. In a such a way, the salaries will come on the order wise based on the ascending order. Lowest first and then higher at the end. But we are going to mention over here as top 5. In that case, we will get only the lowest salaries. Now let me click on save. Now once again, let's run the flow to see the output based on the order by to get the lowest salaries. Flow execution started. And now once again we got the query result. Let's double click on that on the query result. Now if you see, we got different employee IDs, employee name, and after that salary. Now if you observe, I'm having the lowest salaries over here. In a such a way, I'm having employee ID as 1772 and he is having the lowest salary because of we have given the order by based on the salaries, right? So that we are got the lowest salary and later on we got the top 5 salaries which are very lowest, right? 40,000, 40,115, 40,186, 40,201 and 40,255. But our agenda is that to get the top 5 salaries. Top 5 salaries means highest salaries. So that what we are going to do, we are going to mention order by descending order. By default, if you don't mention anything, it will be considered as a ascending order. If you are going to give it as exponentially, you are going to give it as descending order so that we'll get the top salaries. All right, let's click on save. Now, once again, to see the final output of the top 5 salaries in the particular Excel, let's run it. Flow execution started. And there if you see, based on given SQL statement, it will fetch top 5 records which are having highest salaries. Now let's double click on the query result. Now if you see over here, the top salary in the particular Excel is 99,922. Later on, the next salary is the next second salary is 99,903 rupees, and later on 99,721 and 99,594, and the top 5 one is 99,527. Let me show you the Excel. Now, if you see, I'm going to filter largest to smallest. There you can see the same thing over here that I'm having 1042 employee ID, 1904, 1121 and 1236 and 1821. These are the salaries which we have, which we got it from our desktop flow after giving top 5 based on the salaries. All right. I hope you understand how to filter an Excel file by returning top records by using order by class as well as top 5 keywords. Thank you for watching Power Automate desktop tutorials. If you have any queries related to this concept, please post them in this comment section. I will see you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Have a wonderful day.